Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh Heron. Thanks for watching the MotoAmerica YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe.
All right, so let's see what we got going on. 15 laps scheduled for Supersport race number 2 here at Ridge Motorsports Park. When these red lights go on and off, we're racing. It looked like a little bit of movement from Hayes up top.
Just a little bit, didn't it? I mean, he wants to. What he's trying to do is get himself into that mix right off the bat. Forrest doesn't have as big of a jump as he did yesterday.
No, but it's
still the same guy leading, isn't it?
So Xavi Forés, the number 12, leads the way. The Spaniard having his way early on and already starting to eke out a lead. But there, the Vision Wheel M4X Star Suzuki's going with him. Looks like Ty Scott.
Yep.
And you can kind of tell from the different riding positions of the teammates. So Josh Hayes on the Squid Hunter Racing Yamaha R6, one of the older generation bikes in the field, racing against these next-gen machines.
Josh just trying to get to the front right now. He's trying very hard to get by Teague Hobbs. They go around the outside of turn 6 there. Wasn't able to make that. You can see Mesa is just behind DeBrino there. So Mesa is also, I know he had a little bit of a warm-up this morning. But again, you know, when you have the incident that he had yesterday, probably feeling a little bit beat up and is on a new bike as well.
Talking to DeBrino, Jason, about the MV Augusta, which is the bike 5th in the picture, the red and white machine, new to him in this series this year. I asked him when he does club races up here how many laps they normally do, and he said 8 laps. So after 8 laps yesterday, they were in unknown territory with the tires, and so they changed from an R3 rear to an R5 rear, hoping to get a little bit more life out of the Dunlop for the MV, because it's all unknown territory with this brand new motorcycle.
Yeah, and looking at our Dunlop sheet that we get from the guys down there on the grid, I definitely saw there was some changes there as far as the R3s to the R5s, Greg. So there's a few riders that have opted for that R5 combination today on the rear of the bike. So DeBrino doing a great job so far keeping those guys in check. 0.6 of a second. I think yesterday Xavi had a 1 second or maybe more lead at the beginning. Talking to Ty Scott this morning, and I've talked to a number of the guys on the GSXR 750s. They're still having some problems with those bikes in the sense that, and I'm talking across the board through everybody in our class. Just with some of the shifting problems, some of the electronics issues. We know that there was plenty of that last year, and they're definitely getting it sorted. Ty Scott had a little bit of air of confidence this morning. He said, when I talked to him at the rider autograph signings, that he said, Jay, you know, I went faster this morning. I felt more comfortable. We got some of the things that we had some problems yesterday. We got a couple of those sorted, so that's important. As you see Hayes here, he goes up underneath Teague Hobbs. Josh told me straight up, he said, Jason, the only way that I can get by guys is to carve the inside. He's like, it's such a weird way to pass. Yeah, so I mean, like 43.5 this morning, Greg, when I showed up and I came into the booth, I was watching some of the live timing and things during the warm-up session for this class. As you see, Mesa has now slid up underneath Andy DeBrino there, so Mesa's trying to sort the bike out as he goes and get a feel and try to move himself forward. But getting back to the point, you get a great aerial view from our drone camera that we have flying high above the ridge here. As you see, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. It looks like Josh Hayes is going down my board. So we're hearing that we heard that Josh may have fallen, and he did. It looks like maybe turn 11, Greg. It looks to be the exit of turn 11. I saw him going down our board while we had our drone shot going there. So Josh Hayes is tipped off. Yeah, it's moving him into a podium. Let's see if we can see something off into the background here. You see Jake Lewis, but Josh Hayes should be on our right-hand side of our screen here any minute now. We just didn't see it. Yeah, you see the dust. So all that dust, that's Josh falling over.
That was kind of late too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was late, real late in the turn.
I had a really funny conversation with him and Josh Hayes this morning about how, you know, they kind of almost feel like the underdogs in this class because they're on that previous generation motorcycle as Jake Lewis makes the pass on Mesa. You know, so I thought that was funny because they have so much experience compared to people like Xavi Forés, who's never been here, or the young riders like Tyler Scott and Teague Hobbs. So that was definitely an interesting perspective.
Now, Jason, when you look at it, let's talk about A and B bikes. So here in MotoAmerica, we have a one-bike rule.
You do a lot of work on them. You try to get them as good as they can. And then no matter what, the B bike always doesn't quite feel as good as Dave Anthony slides his GSXR 750 up the inside of Mesa. Mesa looks back over and he realizes there's nobody back there. It's usually a tell for me as a rider.
You know, for Jake, he knows what's at stake here, and he's getting serious about it. And when he gets home,
and we've seen him do it before. You know, it's
and the talent level for this rider.
I think for Jake is, I think, you know, as a lot of these guys, when they don't have a ride, and this guy deserves a ride no matter what. And you know, they have that off season and they just do their thing. And it's winter time and all that. Oh, Dave Anthony thing just slid off right behind him. Ah, what a bummer. So Dave Anthony
having a great run in fifth.
He's doing so good.
So the 52 is down on his wrench motorcycles, but I don't know, Jay. I mean, the takeaway for David Anthony is I think he might have found a home on a Supersport machine.
On a Suzuki, not this one, obviously, but just a bummer. Same exact place that Josh made it look really easy again today. Pace definitely was a little better for like Ty Scott behind him. It was definitely better today. But you can see the gap he has here on Ty Scott. And there's Teague Hobbs and Jake Lewis coming into the picture. And then big gap behind Jake back to Mesa.
And then Anthony Mazziato, who's, like you were saying, Jay's feeling better. DeBrino in 7th. David Kolstad, who just set his fastest Sector 1 split back there in 8th place.
Yeah, another local guy, and he's only 2.9 behind DeBrino, so we haven't really got to talk about David Kolstad at all. He's another kid that I saw a lot during the winter, Greg, down there at Chuckwalla and riding super well, and a kid that we should see hopefully more of, I think, in our Supersport category. And but Kolstad, another local guy, doing really well. He's got that gap down to 1.5 now going into this last lap. He was almost, well, he was a second and a half quicker than DeBrino. So it'll be interesting to see how close those two finish to each other.
We're about a month away from Xavi Flores being able to bring his daughter, Jimenez, over here. Of course, the travel with a brand new baby has got to be something else, but looking to bring the family over in his debut season here in MotoAmerica competition, really putting a stamp on showcasing the talent that he brings from multiple series over the years, Jason. And you can just tell the way he rides, the way he approaches each new racetrack is impressive. See how he's covering that clutch?
Yeah. Well, he's going back all the way to first gear here, so you can hear the 3 downshifts getting down there and rolling through this last little sector. You're going to see the checkered flag when he comes on the front straight.
Here comes Xavi Flores. His freshman season here in MotoAmerica Supersport competition. And every race he's entered, he's won so far, and he holds up 7. It's number 7 in a row with a stoppie across the line, and Xavi Flores gets it done and ties Garrett Gerloff for the most wins in a row in a single season. Ty Scott in 2nd, Teague Hobbs in 3rd. Coming across the line in 4th, a good result for Jake Lewis. And by the way, Teague Hobbs goes fastest lap of his race